you guys aren't like an actual CrossFit gym. And at first I was like, I don't get what you mean by that. But then they threw out every cliche, stereotypical thing you hear about CrossFit on the internet. So at that point there, I was like, okay, well, we're guilty by association because if you won't come in the door because of our name, it doesn't matter what service we supply. CrossFit's done a great job, especially for women, in terms of, showing that muscle is beautiful and it's not anything to be ashamed about.
What do you think is like the key to running a good event? Because if it's a bad event, you're not doing another one, right? So, what do you think are the important pieces to make people get excited about the next one?
Being transparent.
Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide. I am your host, John Franklin. Joined with me, as always, my co-host, Mateo Lopez, with his volume on from Los Angeles, California. How you doing, Mateo?
I'm doing well. A bit of a somber day, but in about 3 days, it's going to get a lot better.
We're recording this on Good Friday, so that is my friend Mateo Lopez joke. He's a funny guy, that Mateo. And with us today is Conor Oakley of Forge Fitness, who's got some cool event stuff going on that I think you guys are going to dig. But before we get into that, Conor, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. Thank you guys for having me. How you guys doing?
We're alive. We're alive and we're grinding. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on, how you ended up the owner of Forge Fitness here. What's the brief bio?
Basically, brief bio is I put you guys know, have you ever heard of Kijiji? It's like a Facebook marketplace, kind of like Craigslist.
Yeah, it's like Canadian Craigslist. Canadian Craigslist.
I do know it.
So I went to school to become a landscape designer. Hated it. Decided on a whim I was going to put an ad out, and I knew I had to sell myself. So I put on it. I had never had a client before. I put Ottawa's best personal trainer, one spot left. I had no clients at the time. I wanted to make it seem like I was busy and had no gym to train anybody in. A young kid hit me up. He said, "Do you still have a spot left?" I said, "No, sorry, I'm full. I got no space left. But if you have a home gym or you live in a condo with a gym, I'll train you and I'll also discount the price because I don't have to pay a drop-in fee to a gym to train you." So anyway, took off. Me and him started training, and it got to the point where I kept the ads running. And when we would finish our session, I'd pretend to leave the building, but I would go to the back and I'd let another client in. So for a good 4.5 months, I was training people out of his condo without him knowing. So if he's listening to this, thank you. You got my start there. And
wow, so it was built off. It's a house of cards, just lies.
100%. It was all
wow.
100%.
This guy may be president one day with that type of gusto.
It was a glass box of emotions, and basically I started doing that, and I was doing CrossFit at the time. Started coaching CrossFit, and basically a year and a half into coaching all the classes at the gym, they decided to go under. And at that time there, I went down the road and 30 days later opened up a gym. So it was basically built on a throne of lies. And then from there, it's built into going into almost year 10 now of what it is today. So it's been a journey.
Sorry, I know we wanted to keep the bio brief, but what did you tell the other people who were coming in? Did you tell them?
They thought I lived in the. They thought I lived in the building.
Okay, so you okay, got it.
And nobody was onto you.
Not at all.
How big was this condo building?
It was small. Well, the condo was big, but the gym was maybe 300 square feet. It was small. So,
yeah. But no one uses those. Like
that was the thing.
Yeah, no one. If there's a gym, if there's a smallish gym in your building, no one ever uses them.
Not at all.
So
it was perfect for me. Yeah.
And it had just there was no door access. You would just or
so the gym was basically in the back corner. Exactly. It was in the back corner of the building. There's a glass door right there. I would just open the glass door. They'd come in. So I'd pretend to leave and I'd turn around and come back in. Yeah.
And you just kept the door propped open. That was the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To keep the fob from locking.
Yeah. If that first guy was like, "Oh, I forgot my water bottle," comes back and just sees you in there.
Over. Yeah. Absolutely. So it was kind of just fake it till you
It's
make
just the
it. And
first guy though. The other people, it's fine, right? Because
Yeah,
they
the other
didn't
people
know it
are
they
lives
had
good.
there.
no
It's
idea.
just that one guy.
It was
So
just the one
I
guy.
was pure desperation at that point in my life to do something different than I was, and that was kind of my only option. So made it work, and then from there I transferred the clients over to the CrossFit gym I was training at, and yeah, the rest.
So how big did it get? Your like a legal PT side hustle.
I'd say I had 12 clients coming in, and then they would each prepay. So each person was usually doing like a 20 class package. They would sell for like a grand. So every 2 months I was rolling over basically 12 grand, and it kept me floating. So yeah.
And was that the money you leveraged into opening the CrossFit gym?
Yeah. So basically what happened was that gym closed. I found out on Christmas Eve. So I had like no kind of job after that. Just driving around my neighborhood. I saw this lady putting, it was bizarre. She was taping on a for rent sign in this warehouse that used to be, you guys know those escape rooms where you kind of
Yeah.
get clues to get out. So walls were
Yep.
everywhere. I couldn't even see how big it was, but I saw the ceilings were tall. And anyway, they changed the zoning on her so she couldn't have that facility anymore. So she had 6 months left on her lease. So I basically said to myself, well, I got 6 months to take this over. If it fails, and I tried. So I said to her, I'll give you first and last month rent today if I get the keys today. Because I wanted it. If I knew if I was thinking about it, I wouldn't have done it. So I needed it to be so impulsive that like I was going to start construction that day and make the jump. So yeah, 30 days later, the members were of the last gym were gracious enough to stick it out and come back a month later. So yeah, first day I had like 40 people sign up, and then now we're at like 280, 290 people. So it's pretty crazy.
In the same space? No.
Yeah. So what happened was the space that I took over, it was a storage facility. So what happened was there's partition walls, and in every room there's storage lockers. So I started out with maybe 1,200 square feet, and in like 6 months I was like, I don't have enough space. So I went to the building manager and I said, like, I'm kind of stuck. What can I do? He's like, if you pay for every storage locker in the next room and tear them down, you can have that space too. So then it ended up going to like 2,600 square feet. And now we also have an outside gym as well, which is another 2,500 square feet.
So the escape room was in a storage facility, essentially.
Yeah, that's basically all it was. Yeah,
And was that they were operating illegally out of there, essentially,
I
or they
think
were
so. Yeah,
operating legal? Okay, so they didn't change the zoning; they were just running an illegal business.
pretty much. People were just hiding in the building. That was it. Yeah,
I mean, we ran an illegal gym for a little while. It didn't end well. So sounded probably a similar ending to this lady.
pretty much.
Okay, and so as you grew, you just started renting more storage facilities. Are you legally there, or are you just
I'm
operating
legally there.
illegally as well?
Yeah, yeah. I'm by the book. So, I think I
It's zoned
had when
for
I
CrossFit and storage. Those are the two.
basically, yeah, we can store our weights in there and train. Basically, I think I started out with 15 grand, in which I think like eight I put down for first and last month, and then I had like one rower, four squat racks to a rig, like six kettlebells, and I think I had like four barbells. And basically every time somebody signed up, I would just buy new equipment, and so now we got like 300 grand worth of equipment. But it's just been every time, like the members know that like once a month we're making a big purchase every single month back into the gym. So I've been really big on reinvesting back into the equipment, and the members always like seeing a big box every time they come in.
It's true. They do get excited when new equipment comes in. It's very true. That's probably a good retention strategy that
But 10 years in, what else are you buying? What's the new shiny thing? When we were operating, it was like if you got the bikes, that was
that was big.
We got all of the bikes. So we got the Echo bikes, we got the C2 bikes, we got I think like seven skiers, eight rowers. We have the air runners. So when we started the fitness league, one of the big outfits for me was buying the air runners. So that was a huge investment.
yeah, because those are like 5 grand a pop, right? Or you're Canadian, so they're like 50 grand a pop there once you do the conversion.
Exactly. And honestly, the best thing that COVID ever did for us was it gave the members a heads up on how expensive equipment is when they had to buy their own dumbbells and stuff like that. So when they see the runners come in and they know I've spent like 10 to 14 grand on two machines, I think they realized like, okay, he's actually invested in this. So, and because it was winter and the fitness league is primarily a big running aspect to it, I had to bite the bullet and buy two of those in order to make this work.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that. You're in Ottawa, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's cold. Now it's warmer, but it's cold out here in the winter.
That's like that's considered French Canada, right?
You, you can say that. Yeah. There's lots of poutine here, French
Yeah, it's
fries with
a
the cheese and all
poutine
that.
central. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It keeps us in business.
But you're like on the border of French Canada, right? Like that's any closer, you're into Ontario territory, right? It's like rural. It's pretty rural, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we're Ontario, just over the bridge is Quebec. Yeah, so it's the Wild West out there. It's a little different.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ottawa is Canada's capital, the east in the east of southern Ontario. So where does Quebec start?
So there's basically a bridge like 3 kilometers from the gym that takes you right over into Quebec.
Okay, so it's close. It's like right on the border,
It's
right?
right there. Yeah, we could
Okay,
run there
so
in 10 minutes.
in terms of like American geography mistakes, that wasn't a bad one. That was, I was
Oh, that
close.
was pretty good actually. Yeah.
All right, all right. I lived in Canada for a while, so I should probably
Okay.
know this a little better, but
Okay.
that's all right. Okay, so talked about the CrossFit, building that business. It sounds like it's doing pretty well. You were pretty early to the HYROX trend. You said you were the first affiliate in Ottawa or Ontario.
No, and well, in Ottawa, and then I don't think there was another one until Toronto. So in basically a 400-kilometer range. So like we were really early on. I think Toronto got the first ones, and then it was basically we were getting ready to do the race in New York City, and this was last year, early in the year, and the whole time I was racing, I was thinking to myself like one of two things. One, people don't realize that Hyrox is basically just CrossFit without a barbell in gymnastics. And it was just like the branding of it was so smooth, so inclusive, just a very good bar. Like the bar to get in was really clear. It was, can you run, can you row, can you ski, can you do all these little accessory strength movements, and you could take someone off the street and do it very easily. Where for some people they're more intimidated in a CrossFit class with the barbell. They come in, people are doing butterfly pull-ups, and you could walk into a HYROX class and you don't know who's in the lead in the workout. You don't know, who's the fittest, because depending on what kind of program you're doing in the HYROX, like the body types don't dictate who's the best. You get somebody who's super tall and they can be really good on the ergs, but then you get someone smaller who's really good on the lunges and in the sled work. So in terms of that, it was a perfect segue for us to add value to our clients, knowing that we're going to be doing a lot of races, and we'd be the main ones in the area supplying that training.
So it's not like CrossFit where the ideal build is like being 5'6". You can
It's
be a
quite the
little taller and
opposite.
do all right.
Yeah, I mean that's what drew it to me. I mean, I love trying to do things that I'm not good at just because I know it makes it better. So like when we went to New York, my partner's like 6'3", 230, and he's a runner. So when we did the pairs in New York City, for me it was like I'm not a runner. I got heavy lifts. I'm not a distance guy, and I wanted to just train it because I knew I wasn't going to be good at it. So it's the total opposite of I think what a lot of people like about the heavy lifting in CrossFit.
But it's also standard, which is nice, right? It's like the same. It's like the same concept as a marathon, where it's like what the event is every year
Yeah, because
that
I
it's
mean
going to be.
CrossFit it's all the, unknown, unknowable, where exactly like there's no bias towards the programming. You know exactly what you're getting, you know what to train for. It's quantifiable. I mean, CrossFit preaches things being quantifiable in terms of measuring progress. I mean, look at HYROX. It's the same race, same distance, same weights. And if you're looking for something to quantify your fitness, I mean, it's repetitive enough that there isn't a lot of variation, and your training will speak for itself when you do a race.
And why do you think this is catching on? It seems like more than something like a Spartan race or a Tough Mudder. Is it just because there's more overlap with the movements of like that you would find in CrossFit programming and HYROX, or is it I don't know something else? Because I do know in some boxes there were gyms who try to be like, yeah, we have a program that'll help you with the Spartan race or a Tough Mudder or a marathon, but this seems to be this seems to be catching on a little bit more, I think.
I think it's all, to be honest, a lot of the branding. You're getting a lot of the ex CrossFit athletes now starting to go over. I think their image isn't about body type at all. It's about participation. I think that's huge. I think for a while in some of the sports, you're seeing them almost geared towards representing certain body types. CrossFit's done a great job, especially for women, in terms of, showing that muscle is beautiful and it's not anything to be ashamed about. I think HYROX, they don't touch on image at all. So I think for a lot of people, it's like you wear it as a badge of honor that you completed a race, and that's all that mattered. There was nothing else in the background. There's not a lot of fluff to it. It's show up and go. And I think the turnkey approach is what makes it appealing to people. And I think just being able to not do something that's super just one-sided, like run a marathon, and not too far one-sided, like doing just a strength competition. I think it's the fact, like people enjoyed with CrossFit, is there's so many different domains involved in a race that it's not going to get boring.
So, how are you monetizing your HYROX affiliation?
Yeah, so we have two membership types, and we have just the HYROX membership, and then we have our unlimited program, which is basically what was our CrossFit program mixed with HYROX, which is now just our functional fitness program. Basically, the goal was to get as many people in the new HYROX program, and then eventually have them do a race. And for most of the people, they would either know, okay, I need to get better at running, or I need strength. And then they would end up supplementing their strength by joining our functional fitness program. So in terms of that, it's just a two membership basis. So we got our unlimited, and then we got our sole HYROX program. The other thing is, we see other gyms be like, oh, we got HYROX, this and that. And you look at their schedule and it's like one class a week or one every 2 weeks. And we found that's more just like a fear of missing out thing. They see the other gyms doing it and they do it well, and they want to bandwagon it so their members don't go somewhere else. But we have High Rocks every single day. We have a class at least once a day. So, and like some of those classes on the weekend, for example, we're getting 35 plus people in a class. And also from a programming standpoint, it's incredible because you don't have the barbells out. It's not occupying a ton of floor space. So if you're a small gym that wants to maximize revenue, HYROX is a great thing, because for the longest time in CrossFit classes, you'd be confined, you'd have a 2,000 square foot space and you'd have 12 people in it. And in the middle of the class, people would bump into each other and you're like, oh my God, are we going to have to go bigger? Where with a HYROX class, like the capacity to fit people is so much more than a CrossFit class.
Yeah, looks like you got 25 signed up for tomorrow, another 25 on Sunday. So you caps 26. So you're packing these things out.
Yeah, so we basically, our rule is if somebody goes on the wait list, we never bump them out. So we have our standard class sizes set at 25 to 30, and then basically overnight we start letting people in. Usually it's so that we can skew the programming overnight if we need to, because everything's programmed in advance for us. But at least then once we know the numbers and we add more people in, we can make it a little more friendly to the masses of the people. Like I said, like tomorrow, for example, we have a sold out day.
So how many people can you get into a HYROX class versus, say, a CrossFit class?
So typically, our Saturday morning, for example, team CrossFit workouts, we have around 20 to 22 people. But when it comes to our High Rocks class, like we really wanted to, we get 40 in a class.
So it's almost double. It's the operational capacity is about 2 to 1.
Yeah. So like if I was a gym just opening and I didn't have a ton of space and ton of equipment, this would be where I'm prioritizing my style of training, especially if you're afraid to outgrow your space and you're good at getting leads and keeping your retention high. I think this is the best style of programming going forward.
How is it different in terms of the class and the programming? Like, are you just you're not just doing the events every day? I'm
No, no, no,
assuming
no.
so.
No.
So
So we get a ton of people also dropping in. So we pride ourselves that our Programming is as close to a race as you'll get in terms of like we see other people posting their programs and it will be like do a 400-meter run, 50 wall balls and 50 burpees. And like if you're hoping to have people train towards a race, they're going to do the race and look at you that train them and be like, what were you thinking, because you set us up for failure. So like for example, we do everything on like a gradual kind of bridge style program. So if we just did a race, so like I did Las Vegas a couple months ago, come back from Las Vegas, and the rule kind of is for everyone, okay, we're restarting the build. So that means all our runs for the next week and a half are only going to be 200-meter distances. So like if you're just joining or you haven't been coming a lot lately, if I start programming thousands again because I just did a race and I'm feeling good, you're going to show up and you're going to be like, okay, this is overwhelming. Even if you scale, it is what it is. So what we do is we say to everybody, okay, this is our building block again. So the workout may be 200-meter run, 500-meter row, 50 wall balls. And then it will be like 200-meter run, 400 meters, 40 wall balls. So just like chipper style. But then the goal is week over week as a whole, as a group, almost like a running program, we're going to increase the distance. So 2 weeks from now, those distances will become 400, 200, 400, 200. And then we bridge it back so that we are all kind of as a group. And people like that too, because they're more likely to come in when we restart the building block, where if you're like, oh, everyone's feeling good, let's hammer out a bunch of 1,000-meter runs. Well, some people are gonna be like, this is too much volume for me because we haven't ramped up together. So it's a good way, especially too, for new people joining. It's, hey, get in on this now because we're building up as a group, and if you want to follow this program with us, it's a good time to start now.
I know it's still kind of new, but so maybe we don't know. I'm curious about like the retention of this thing because I don't know if this event is like, so obviously there are marathon runners, but there are some people who like, I'm going to do the New York Marathon. I'm going to do it once in my life. I'm going to train for it. And then I'm probably not going to do it again. Do you think it's going to be one of those things where they train for this event one time and they're like, I'm glad I did it. And now I'm going to go back to what I was doing before, or they're going to want to do this every year or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. So that's something that we've thought about as well. I think it's on behalf of HYROX is up to the affiliates to keep the engagement for their members and not sell it as you're training for X, like a marathon and being done. It's more like this is a good program for longevity for you. It covers the aspects of cardiovascular health, very important, covers the strength training. Maybe you've tried CrossFit in the past and you weren't a fan of the Olympic lifting, or you're just scaling a ton and you're like, well, I'm not really doing all the movements of a class. It's a really good long-term program. Someone myself too, like from competing so long, it's almost a relief some days to just say go on the clock and start with a run to warm up the body, and then know my strength's going to be, some sled pushes, some farmers carries. It just feels easier to wrap your head around on days as well that you don't feel like you're going to go 100%. A lot of it almost feels like grunt work. So like out where I am, I have a farm, and a lot of HYROX feels like I'm working on the farm because it's run, pick something up, and CrossFit brands itself on functional fitness, but I think a HYROX is just as functional, if not more, and it allows you to just have the flexibility to program outside the box as well without feeling like you have to teach somebody, sessions on sessions of technique on something. I think that's the what's going to keep people in it, is that they can go at what they feel is an elite level for themselves without being held back by a ton of technique.
Hey gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, book a call at usekilo.com.
What percentage of your membership is like HYROX?
Yeah, so I'd say if we have 280 members now, I'd say at this point probably at least 100 to 120 now are just HYROX.
So what is that in terms of like a percentage of your revenue?
Yeah, so we had like when I introduce HYROX, so I'm big on running paid ads and videos. I'm pretty shocked out our way, the lack of, I hate social media, but the lack of social media presence a lot of people have. It's just either dull or it's not exciting. So we do like a lot of flash clips of just like what it feels like to be in our class. So like when we were pumping out paid ads, like we had weeks where we were getting upwards of 15 to 20 people doing drop-ins just off paid ads. And our conversion rate, I'd say, is easily 85% plus. So we pride ourselves on, if you come to a class with us, like at least 8 out of 10 people are going to at least buy a class pass.
Sorry, what's the offer on the ads?
So basically, we on our ads, we do a week free. And then if you sign up off the free trial, your first package is 25% off. And then from there, so usually we're off the paid ad. If I run about $15 a day and somebody comes in, we convert them to about a $250 purchase. So I mean, hand over fist is the best thing to do. But we have found out that it's very dependent on when HYROX is running the races. So that's the only downfall on it. So like the question would be, okay, why aren't you just doing that every single week and killing it? It goes in waves. So like we're waiting for Toronto to announce its next race, and by them advertising it and us being the facility that will supply them the trainer, it very much goes hand in hand. So I'd say though, off the people that did the race, so we had at least 80 members that did the race in Toronto that actually raced. I'd say we have at least 50 to 60 that have continued on since then.
So it's a free week for the HYROX classes.
Yep. Yep.
And that works because it's not like people are dropping into a CrossFit class where there could be snatches. This is,
Correct.
it's running and
Exactly.
it's sled pushes. So you can
Yep.
probably put a noob in there pretty easily.
100%. So, and it's like we get people that are coming in now saying, I'm running race weekend in 3 months from now. So that's Ottawa does this thing called race weekend where it's an Ottawa marathon. And they're using HYROX now as their supplement to run their marathons. So even if they're not doing a HYROX race, they know, okay, I'm going to get some running in the class. I'm going to get some strength training. And now HYROX is what CrossFit used to be for supplementing stuff like that for strength, but they don't want to do all the Olympic lifts.
So in terms of like a percentage of your revenue, how much of it comes from HYROX?
At this point, I'd say at least 40%.
And so did you find like that was in addition to the revenue you're making before? So has this been just kind of like a big tailwind to your business, or has it like eaten into some of your CrossFit business?
No, I wouldn't say it's the opposite. If anything, we've converted people from HYROX into the CrossFit style training. So it's been a good like lead generator for us to like. So one of the reasons we rebranded was we were getting people coming in that their friend would say to them, my friend's been telling me for a while to come in, but like I don't know about CrossFit, but they told me you guys aren't like an actual CrossFit gym. And at first I was like, I don't get what you mean by that. But then they threw out every cliche, stereotypical thing you hear about CrossFit on the internet. So at that point there, I was like, okay, well, we're guilty by association because if you won't come in the door because of our name, it doesn't matter what service we supply. The moment we started advertising HYROX, it was like people that live across the street that wouldn't come in because we said CrossFit are now coming in because we say HYROX.
Seems kind of like a no-brainer. Like, should every functional training style gym have a HYROX program, or is there something that you're doing that makes it make more sense than maybe it would for a similar type gym?
Yeah, so I would say it depends what your knowledge is of HYROX. So like we have gyms in the area that they've never done a race. They don't know how the flow of the program works. And I think it's one of those things, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. Else your members will pay you, they'll go through the experience, and then they'll look at you because you were supplying the guidance and they'll say, you didn't know what you were talking about. So I do think a lot of facilities should add it, but if you're going to do it, commit to it. Don't do one class a week. Have it every single day if you can, and give it a good value and a good chance. And I think it's fresh enough too that also as another gym, I don't want somebody to go do HYROX down the road and exile it from their mind because they didn't get a good experience. And I think that's what happened with CrossFit. People did it once, it wasn't taught well, the experience wasn't good, and now they've exiled it from their mind forever.
So you think people who are into it should, or people who are curious about it should do it first, should be a HYROX athlete before starting to offer a class?
A great way to do it. I mean, how do you teach something where you don't know how you're going to feel halfway through the event? So, when we're doing certain things, I'll tell people, okay, we're building our lactic acid threshold, because I know personally when I was on my sixth run of the kilometer, I came out of doing, X station, and like I needed the first 100 meters to recompose myself. We're like, how does somebody that hasn't done a race relay that kind of information of how they're going to feel in the race when they've never been there?
I haven't done it, but I haven't done a HYROX, but I can tell you bad. You're not going to feel good. Your legs are
I,
not going to feel great.
well, and it's the
Join my HYROX
details.
affiliate, guys.
nine
HYROX
dollars
Kilo coming
$9 a
soon.
month. Yeah.
One class a year. It's held at Mateo's backyard. We're looking forward to having you guys all out there.
Yeah. Sign in remotely. Um,
Using
there
Kilo.
exactly. There are even little details though, like even the water stations that you need to know from a coaching standpoint. Like people need to know, like, is there going to be a cluster of people there? Are you even be able to get water here? And it's like there's little details that you have to do a race to know exactly what those experiences are going to be like.
So let's talk about your league, your fitness racing league, which is the meat and potatoes of what we want to learn about. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the fitness league started after New York. I was like, okay, well, what would it take to do a race in Ottawa? So one, I saw it from the revenue side of like they must be crushing it. And then two, just the lack of supply. So started talking to a buddy. We decided, okay, let's get together and talk about putting together a race. Then the logistics came into play. You need turf, you need 20 rowers, 20 skiers, all your rigs for wall balls, everything. And in order to run something big off the start, like it's a huge risk. So as we were finishing the meeting, I said, well, like, what if we just did something high rock style in my gym, but we'll just pair your gym up against my gym and we'll make it a friendly competition. I know a lot of your members haven't done a race, so we can kind of simulate one. So basically, what happened was he brought 4 teams of 6. I brought 4 teams of 6. Each team paid $180. Okay, so we had 12 teams, or sorry, 8 teams, all paying $180 each. I had bought a second air runner for that event, so I had to shell out like $5,000 just to make this happen. But I knew I wanted one anyway. So anyway, what happened was we went in teams of 3, or sorry, pairs of 3, guy, girl, guy, girl, guy, girl. You had to do as a team 3 kilometer run, 3 kilometer
Hold on.
row.
Pairs of
Yep.
3. Okay,
Yep.
so 6
So
people.
correct.
6 boy girl or 3 boy girl pairs.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So basically you'd have a guy girl pair on a rower, guy girl pair on a skier, and the guy girl pair on an air runner. Each pair has to do 1,000 meters on a machine. Okay. So if you were my pair, you would go 250, I go 250 till we get to 1,000. Once we get to 1,000, we move up to the rower. The people in the skier move to the runner, and it's a rotation, moving machines. Once your team gets 3,000 meters on each machine, because you each have to do 1,000 on each one, you go to the other side of the gym. At that point there, you and your pair will do a length of dumbbell lunges down the floor, a length back. Then everyone else on the team goes. Then you do 2 sled pushes each. Then you do 2 lengths of burpee broad jumps each. Then your whole team goes back to the other side of the gym. And now you have a 3 kilometer sprint as a team, trading whenever you want. So it starts off, all the distances are fixed. And at the end, it's a free for all. So like we have events, the time cap's usually 45 minutes. And it will come down to, after the run, you have 120 wall balls as a team. Forgot to add. It will come down to like 2 wall balls. So it's a full out sprint because it's work rest. When your partner is going, you're not going. And then it's 100% effort. So like in terms of a race, it's so close in terms of teams. but again, super inclusive. So we have categories. So we've had an open category and a pro category. The only difference on those is the weights for the dumbbells and then the weights for the sled.
You're saying it takes 90 minutes to get through all that?
45.
45?
Mm-hmm.
And so how many people are
So we
running it? How many people can you run at a time?
Yeah, so what we ended up doing is we started with 2 teams at a time, so 12 people on the floor. Now the way we run it, we have 3 teams. And then our next event has changed. So in order to keep the interest, we've changed the flow of it. So the next event is just going to be a straight shot. It's a kilometer run. And then you and your team of 6 will each have a rower and a skier. You got to get both machines to 5 kilometers, run another kilometer, come back in, both your machines to 5 kilometers again, and then finish with 1 more kilometer run. So it's 10K worth of ergs and 3K worth of runs. In this one, we're doing one heat of 12 teams. So basically, we'll have each team will get a rower and a skier. You have to run together. So it'll be one wave of teams all in the gym.
So 24 going at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. And so a team, what does it cost to do this?
So it's 180 a team.
Okay.
So if we have 10 teams, we make $1,800 for the night.
Okay. And this is something, and you can do this and you split it with the other gym, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so I just brought on a partner now. His name's Sean. He owns Boombox Fitness. So basically, the way we did it was every time we had a new event, a different gym would host it. So
Okay.
yeah, so basically, if you want to get on board, you come try a class or a evening with us competing, and then from there you can put your name in to have your gym host. We'll go over, we'll have a meeting, we'll see how the floor will lay out, and that also allows us to change the programming a little bit based off the size of your space.
And if they're hosting an event, are you the de facto competing gym?
In terms of what?
So is it the competition's not gym versus gym, it's just inter-gym?
So the plan is basically to have it gym versus gym, the way it's laid out. So you can put up to 4 teams from your gym in there. And then but the thing is, we're not actually keeping score. So that's the one thing that kind of keeps it from people know who won, but like we don't put a leaderboard. We're not like giving out anything in terms of like making a team feel like they won. We do the same thing in our gym as well in terms of like we don't write scores down on the board and stuff like that. It's kind of just like fist pump everybody. It was an awesome night, and we kind of leave it at that.
Okay, so this was an event you did in January. And so this one, you said you had 72 athletes come out to that?
At least, yeah.
And so that's 36 teams?
So 6 people per team.
Oh, a team 6.
Teams of 6, yeah.
So 12 teams.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So we started that one at 5 p.m. and we were done by about 9 p.m.
Okay. And this is your gym here?
Nope. That's Strength Collective.
Okay, so
that was another gym.
Okay. And so how many came from their gym?
So they had 4 teams. We had 4 teams. Another gym, Boombox, had 3 teams. And then we had 3 wild card gyms. Yeah. So basically every time I put out a different event, I'll put on the Instagram page, reach out if you want to. And then we kind of filter the teams based off if we think they'll be a good fit.
Got it. So it's not necessarily like my gym versus your gym that like
No,
there's
not,
a host gym, they
like
supply
straight,
some teams.
Yeah, it's not a straight
like
showdown.
If Mateo and I wanted to furnish a team, we could get into
100% correct. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And then so how does it work with the gym that's hosting? How do you split the revenue when somebody else is hosting?
So it all depends. Usually now the place hosting gets to keep all the money from their gyms that registered.
Got it. So they got a third, and then you kept the residual for hosting.
Correct. But we also, after the event, we have drinks and we order food and stuff like that for everyone too. So in terms of like revenue, we'll still walk away with at least $1,000, but we're making sure we give value back to the members as well that are participating.
So 3 hour, $1,000 in 3 hours basically for hosting one of these, and
Yep.
it's probably great for. It's probably a great community builder, right? Because people get
100%.
to.
Well, because now what's happening is some of the people that are doing these races, they want to do more high rocks. And because we have such a popular schedule, they'll now travel from their gym over to ours. And the big void, which made me want to do this, was there was a bad stereotype in the CrossFit community of like inner battles with gyms. Like some gyms won't talk to each other. If you go to my gym, you know, you're afraid that your members are going to leave, and like there isn't a lot of camaraderie that way. So when we started this, aside from us, no other gym was a CrossFit gym. Some of them did Spartan race, some of them did hit training, and it was like we can have all you compete in this race regardless of what style of training you do, which made it really cool.
Yeah, and you probably could get like Orange Theory people. Like it's probably not even limited F45. Like they all have that equipment, so it's open to
That's what
much.
was happening. So we were having those style gyms reach out to us because they're like, we can race in this and we don't have to have done CrossFit or anything.
And so, is this just like a fun little side hustle thing, or do you does the Ottawa Fitness Racing League, do you have grander ambitions, or?
Yeah, so we're May 9th, we have our fifth one, and by 7, either myself and my partner now, Sean, we either want to have a venue or we're going to do it on our farm.
Oh, the farm would be fun.
So then actually just starting the CrossFit Games again.
Yeah, this is the ranch.
We've gone
going back
circle.
to the ranch.
Exactly.
Where it all started.
Yeah,
Full
I mean,
circle
I got
moment.
cows and goats, so I mean, they may pick one up and run. Who knows?
And so, you guys don't even have like a site or anything yet, right?
So we
I
just
can't
started
find
a
anything.
Instagram page, Ottawa Fitness League, where some of the videos are on it. But it was super organic at first, just because selfishly I did want some control of who was competing. I didn't want to just put out a page and like sign up yourself. Like I wanted to make sure that the people that were racing kind of had the same values as everyone else. Because I was telling some of the other people, like one bad team can ruin this for everyone. Like if one team comes in too hot, starts chirping, or gets too aggressive in terms of being competitive, it will scare a lot of people off. So this is very much like an intramural, like varsity league mixed with competitive fitness.
Got it. And so for gym owners hearing
So
this, if they want to,
that's my gym there.
there we go. And then so for the gym owners listening to this who want to do something like this, like what type of equipment, like what's the minimum amount of stuff you'd need to do something similar?
Yeah, so I mean, right there we got 2 sleds. We got 2 runners. There, you could have 2 rowers, 2 skiers, a set of wall ball targets. You don't have to have a large space. So like we've been fortunate enough, we've always got super creative in terms of just the size we have. But you can see just off that video, like the intensity is pretty high and all the body types are different. So like you're getting some people that are in their 50s, and then like there, for example, we're not sticklers. Like if somebody wants to help someone push a sled, that's when you can't be too competitive, because, people get caught up in that and they're like, oh, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. So if we're not keeping score and everyone knows it's just like a throwdown with a group. And the cool thing was people would come in from other gyms, and like the first day it was like kind of segregated, like your gym here, here, here. And like now you walk in, you don't know who's with whose gym because everybody's kind of intermingling.
What do you think is like the key to running a good event? Because if it's a bad event, you're not doing another one, right?
No,
So
no.
what do you think are the important pieces to make people get excited about the next one?
Being transparent. So like we've been super transparent in terms of every event. Like if you think anything could have gone smoother, let us know. This isn't like, hey, we've set this up perfect and everything's going to go great. Literally in the explanation, when I'm explaining the workout, I'm going to say, I'm like, there's going to be things that happen today. Someone might not hit a standard. You may have a hiccup on a machine. Like it doesn't matter in the end. Like we're all just throwing down together. And I think that's the biggest thing is transparency. Like just tell me what we need to do better and we'll improve on the next event.
And how are you promoting this? Like, I don't see, you just got an Instagram page. You said you've done 4 of them already. So how are you marketing? Like, someone wants people to do something like buy something like this, what do they need to do?
So it basically started off just by on our gym Instagram. It I put a little highlight video because it just started off with 2 gyms. And then I put a highlight video and I just put like Ottawa Fitness League's first race. Check out what you missed. Let me know if you want to be involved. And it started out and people are like, what the hell is this? And they saw like there were 2 different gyms getting along. And that was kind of like a foreign concept. So once people saw that, they I'd say we had 8 people DM us right away being like, how can I get my gym involved? And it was like, again, transparent. We're just figuring out where this is going. We're building it slow. We'll send you the details on, how to get involved in the next one. We picked 2 gyms out of those 8 messages, ran another one, put a promo video out on gym social, and then it got to the point where after the last one, I was like, hey, it needs to become a little more turnkey, professional, get it not associated to the gym anymore, get it its own thing. Because then I'm also like, it's not fair to some gyms where if I'm hosting it, all the content's about my gym, this and that. Like they're not going to be comfortable just blasting everything about my gym out on their page. So if it's a generic Instagram about the fitness league, they're more likely to share it because there's no bias towards you're not going to feel threatened in a certain way of oversharing a certain gym's info. So it's just at the point now where we're starting to really broaden how we deliver it.
And you're doing when did you start doing these?
I would say probably 5 months ago.
Oh, so you're doing like one a month.
Yeah, like one every 5 weeks.
So for gym owners enterprising and can kind of hack this together, it's a real way where they can generate an extra $1,000 a month.
Well, I mean, so going into the 5th race, I mean, we've probably made like 16 grand total off these events for extra revenue. It's one night and we have the equipment already. Like there are fixed costs. Like when we add it up, between the runners, and I bought another sled and I bought another piece of turf and whatever else. So like still probably not cash flow positive, but like it's making good money. So if you're somebody that has everything outfitted, I just see I'm in it for the long haul. So I'll pay for stuff now in order to have it pay off later.
Right. Those are assets. So
100%.
yeah. So it seems like this is, if someone's offering HYROX or HYROX affiliates, this is kind of a cool way that you can take that affiliation and monetize it, right?
For sure. I mean, I've always thought it's hard to compete with different spaces and stuff like that. Someone could spend 300 grand in just outfitting the style of their gym and it could look awesome. And you got us that's more warehouse style, old school. And it's like the way you compete with people is on value. So if we're offering something too that people can be a part of that their gym isn't, that's the one way to make ourselves unique, is just continue to supply value. And if that's just through experiences like the fitness league, I think, that holds a tremendous, value itself.
Rocking, man. So if people want to follow along and, learn more about this, where do they go?
Yeah, so they can either go to our Instagram, Forge Fitness, or they can go to the Ottawa Fitness League on Instagram. Like I said, that's just starting to kind of evolve with a lot of content. But if they have any messages or want to get involved, or even if people just want to know how do I run an event and what's a good format to go off my space and stuff like that, they can just send me a message and I can kind of give them the template on how to walk through their first event.
Mateo, where do people go if they want to find out about us?
Yeah, if you're looking for the only gym management software that can help you blow up your HYROX program and take it to the next level, go to usekilo.com. Check out what we got. We can help you. We can help you with that landing page you have to update on your website that talks about HYROX. We can help you keep track of your leads that you're getting from all your awesome Facebook ads that you're running about HYROX. And we can set you up with some gym management software that'll make it easier for you to sell membership packages, all geared towards getting people ready for HYROX. So if you're looking for that, go to usekilo.com and book a call today.
And if you got some value out of the show, be sure to like and subscribe and share with the gym owner in need. Until next week, Gym World, we love you.